spring of 1978. Becoming's fifth episode, Karl Lagerfeld delves into his burgeoning personal issues as well as his growing notoriety and status. Karl travels to Spain to work with the Fendi brand while his mother is listening to a radio interview with him. There, he also runs across Jacques, who is on vacation and relishing the freedom he never experienced with Karl. Jacques wants to succeed on his own rather than relying on Karl for survival, even if they get along well. Karl has now overcome his main challenges and is participating in Pablo Picasso's daughter Paloma Picasso's wedding. Karl wants Jacques to attend the wedding celebration because, in his words, if Jacques is not there, then Pierre and Yves have won. The dinner is meant to be a victory party celebrating Karl's triumph over everyone else. "And if I don't have anything around me, what have I accomplished?" he asks. Jacques continues to reject him. Karl eventually arrives at the Fendi headquarters, where they talk about the project that requires a photographer. At this point, he learns about his mother's stroke and immediately returns to Paris. She was fortunately discovered in time and admitted to the hospital. Karl suppresses his feelings and returns to work for the Picasso wedding despite his mother's condition. In the meantime, Karl suggests that Jacques take on the role of photographer for Fendi's upcoming project. This leads to an embarrassing scenario in which Jacques is informed that he has been employed since they are unable to refuse Karl's request. Feeling ashamed, Jacques tells Karl over the phone that he is not a photographer. Karl says he should do his hardest and go to the wedding celebration once he's successful. Jacques ends the call. After some time, Jacques gives Karl a call and offers to write and direct a movie for Fendi. He invites Karl to accept the job or reject it. Karl concurs. Karl lives outside of Paris with his mother in another place, and despite his obvious affection for her, he is unable to keep his public persona and career apart from him. He leaves after a brief conversation. Karl and Yves meet and talk while getting ready for the wedding reception. During their conversation, Yves tells Karl that Pierre left him, and Karl tells him about his mother's declining health. We discover that Yves' health has also gotten worse. After a time, the visitors begin to arrive, and when Jacques finally does, he can't stop talking about his filming project. In fact, he enjoys working alone and suggests that he won't require Karl's assistance for very long. Although the reception is a huge success, Pierre approaches Karl and remarks, "The more you create illusions, the better I see you," in reference to Jacques' presence, as he watches Jacques socialize and discuss his Fendi idea. Karl is growing increasingly alone. After everyone has left, he sees the movie that Jacques made. The movie is fantastic, but before long, fear of losing Jacques creeps in because he wouldn't require Karl. In light of the fact that Fendi enjoyed Jacques' film, Karl phones them to abandon the movie idea. It is revealed that Karl's mother passed away without having the chance to meet her son again 4 months later. The review of the episode. This episode primarily shows Karl's terrible loneliness as a result of his mother's absence as well as his toxic love and devotion for Jacques. These feelings cause Karl to become anxious, which drives him to ruin Jacques' profession as well as his own life and identity. It also emphasizes how Karl never seems to be at ease and how his goals always exceed his physical height. In the middle of these fame-seeking aspirations, he stays far away from genuine connections and relationships.